Nearly 35 million children in the United States have experienced one or more types of childhood trauma, and more than 35% of youth exposed to community violence will experience post-traumatic disorder, also known as PTSD. Good afternoon, my name is Josephine Perez.
My name is Valeria Salas.
I'm Hannah Thomas.
Claudia Ramsey.
And I am Jose Mendez. In the US, many people have been considered to be affected in social, economic ways, have been affected in so many different ways, but people don't grab in mind how they've been affected mentally. This comes to the question, to what extent have traumatic events negatively affected the American AP student score in the last 35 years? Our argument, abuse, school violence, and natural disasters have all led to a result of academic performance and learning environment to all the AP students' scores.
Childhood trauma, as we know, can come in various different forms, whether it's the loss of a family member, a traumatic event that's happened to a child in the past, or abuse. Abuse is one of the most prevalent forms of childhood trauma, and it is estimated that 1 in 7 children have experienced abuse and or neglect in the past year in the United States. I'm sorry. This results to children having to deal with their abuse in different types of ways, as there isn't an exceedingly large outlet for children to share their encounters with abuse and have good ways to cope with their trauma. It is seen here in this graph that there's 86% of students that know someone that's under the influence at school, which doesn't allow their students to utilize their class to their fullest extent and utilize their lectures to their fullest extent, causing a distracting environment for the user and the people around the user.
In 2019, the National Survey of Drug Use and Health collected data on whether a major depressive episode in the past year caused respondents to experience severe impairment in 4 major life domains. These domains were defined separately for youths ages 12 to 17 and adults 18 or older. Symptoms of a major depressive episode include but are not limited to anxiety, loss of interest, weight changes, difficulty concentrating, and a depressed mood. And a major depressive episode will not only affect a student's ability to perform well at school, but at home as well. Students become more closed off with their parents, lose interest in hobbies and interests that they created at home, and as well as lose interest in chores or
Our second argument is the school violence affects students' academic performance and mental health. According to this graph, school shootings have been increasing since the earliest known school shooting in the United States, which took place in 1764 and was known as the Pointed Rebellion School Massacre. And out of the 13 children enrolled in the school, only 3 survived. As you can see, the number of school shootings and student deaths increased dramatically in the 1990s, and the number almost doubled in the 2010s. According to researchers, 142 children ages 5 to 11 had died from gun-related injuries, and 1,865 students ages 13 to 18 have died from the same cause. As you can see, the graph on the right shows the English proficiency rates of students who have gone through school shootings, and one on the left shows the math proficiency rates of these same students. These proficiency rates are being compared with the proficiency rates of students who have not gone through school shootings, and you can see that the proficiency rates of students who have gone through school shootings decreased dramatically in the year it happened, and that it stays the same for about 3 years. According to a Stanford research paper, students who have gone through school shootings are more likely to have higher absenteeism rates and lower graduation rates.
Natural disasters negatively alter students' home and school life. In 2008, a hurricane needs survey was conducted on the students of the University of Texas Medical Branch after Hurricane Ike struck Galveston Island. These results showed that their academic performance for those who struggled and those who did not. On the left, around 45% of students struggled, and on the right, about 50% did not struggle. And although the number of those who struggled is 5% less, that doesn't take away from the fact that they still struggled And hurricanes not only destroy homes, which causes kids to lose interest in school and more where they're going to need shelter or their homes, but as well as school resources and materials.
In 2011, there was a flood that disrupted the daily lives of many children in schools. It not only destroyed the students' homes and the learning environment, but also the resources as well. This was a big obstacle for many teachers having to teach students. Some of them had no schools that couldn't be built in months or even years. There are many ways that we can solve this. There's therapy, where you can solve school violence and mental traumas, but there's no set deadline to know when exactly you can heal a trauma, and sometimes you'll never completely heal from this trauma. You can also have fundraisers for school when they have been destroyed, or to find new solutions, new resources for these schools. There's a problem though, that not many people will give you money for this, and not many people can raise enough money to build a school.
This is our website page, and that's the end of our presentation. We can answer some questions.
I'll start with you. Describe an argument from one of your peers' individual reports that made you think differently about your team's solution.
Well, we had a lot of arguments in our presentation, but I think Claudia's was the best because she introduced a whole different aspect of how abuse can lead into different things, and it made us change our whole perspective on how each thing ripples into another kind of like solution and argument.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I was scribbling. Hannah, what is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about your own research?
I think that it made my research more important. School shootings is not given more importance. People tend to forget about it, and I think that it's different that these three things can have the same solution. It can be solved.
All right, Joey. In the future, what's a change you would make to your group norms, and how would you expect that to improve the team presentation?
I would definitely have my team have stricter deadlines so we'd be able to practice more and just really get down our actual performance. And so there wouldn't be any last minute changes that could maybe disrupt our performance in any way.
All right. Jose, describe how the content of the team presentation changed as a result of your group discussions.
When we got to the point that we all had to put in our IRRs and we had to all grab our own different viewpoints, we had to limit some very good but didn't really contribute to our full and final presentation. Like for example, there were some things that I had put in that weren't able to fully be used to compare with everyone else's IRRs and plans.
Hadia, in what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
I think this was my first real group project that kind of counted for me, because I've done group presentations before, but it was mainly for smaller things. So I think this also helped my ability to understand that there are stuff that needs to be put out more to the media too. All these things negatively benefit students and how they perform in these AP